IBM stock just crashed 10% after Anthropic dropped a COBOL converter that threatens to obsolete legacy programmers overnight. Elon Musk signed a deal to let the military use Grok for mass surveillance and autonomous weapons, while Anthropic refuses. Microsoft got caught using plagiarized AI slop to explain their own product, complete with made-up words. MIT researchers proved that ChatGPT literally gives worse answers if you seem uneducated. And Anthropic just quietly dropped their flagship safety pledge. Let's break it all down. Alright, let's start with the IBM bombshell because this one sent shockwaves through Wall Street. Anthropic just released a COBOL to modern code converter, and IBM stock immediately dropped 10%. Here's why that matters. COBOL is this ancient programming language from the 1960s that somehow still runs most of the world's banking systems, insurance companies, and government agencies. We're talking 70% of business transactions globally. The problem? The programmers who know COBOL are retiring or dying off, and younger developers would rather learn literally anything else. IBM has made billions charging companies to maintain these legacy systems. Their entire consulting business depends on COBOL being hard to escape from. And Anthropic just made it easy to escape. Their new tool reportedly converts COBOL code to Python or Java with high accuracy, handles the weird edge cases that made manual conversion a nightmare, and can process millions of lines in hours instead of months. If this works as advertised, IBM's legacy revenue stream just became an endangered species. Now, while Anthropic is disrupting legacy tech, they're also in a standoff with the Pentagon. And this one gets uncomfortable. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is meeting with Anthropic's CEO Dario Amodei this week to deliver what sources call an ultimatum. The Pentagon wants Anthropic to allow Claude for, quote, all lawful purposes, which includes mass surveillance of Americans and autonomous weapons. Anthropic said no. Here's where it gets interesting. Elon Musk's XAI just signed exactly that deal. Grok will be available in the military's classified systems with no restrictions on how it's used. Google and OpenAI are in active negotiations too. The Pentagon is accelerating talks because they're preparing to potentially sever their relationship with Anthropic entirely. They're even threatening to brand Anthropic a supply chain risk. So we have one AI company refusing to cross ethical lines, another AI company saying, sure, whatever you need, and two more trying to figure out where they stand. This is the AI ethics debate playing out in real time with actual consequences. Speaking of consequences, let's talk about Microsoft's week. They got caught using plagiarized, AI-generated garbage on their official documentation. And it's embarrassing. Here's what happened. An engineer named Vincent Dreesen created a popular Git branching diagram back in 2010. It's been used everywhere for 15 years. He made the source files freely available because, open source community. Microsoft apparently ran his diagram through an AI generator, got back a garbled mess with made-up words like, contingently morgued, that's not a typo, that's literally what the AI produced, and published it on their official Learn portal as documentation for GitHub. $1 trillion company. Their own product. And they used AI slop that couldn't even spell, continuously merged. Dreesen called it careless, blatantly amateuristic, and lacking any ambition, to put it gently. Microsoft quietly removed it after he called them out. No apology, no acknowledgement. This is what happens when you let AI generate content without human review. It's a perfect example of the quality problem plaguing AI-generated content across the industry. Now this next one is a research paper from MIT, and it's genuinely troubling. They tested whether ChatGPT, Claude, and other large language models treat users differently based on how educated they seem. Short answer, yes, and it's bad. When users wrote with lower English proficiency, used simpler vocabulary, or indicated they were from non-US countries, the models gave significantly worse responses. We're talking more factual errors, more hallucinations, and way more refusals to answer. The researchers also found that models became patronizing and condescending. Instead of helpful explanations, users got oversimplified responses or outright refusals because the AI apparently decided they couldn't handle real information. So the people who might benefit most from AI assistance, those with less access to education, are getting the worst service. The models are amplifying existing inequalities instead of reducing them. This is a fundamental problem. These tools are supposed to democratize access to information. Instead, they're creating a two-tier system where educated users get accurate answers and everyone else gets garbage. Okay, let's shift to something more hopeful. Scientists just built a computer that generates images using basically zero energy. It's called a thermodynamic computer, and it works by leveraging thermal noise instead of fighting against it. Here's the simple version. Normal computers spend enormous energy to flip bits precisely. All the random thermal jiggling of atoms is the enemy. This new approach uses that jiggling as the actual computation. The randomness does the work. The researcher compared it to boats on an ocean. Current AI is like an ocean liner, it just plows through waves like they don't exist. Very effective, very energy hungry. This thermodynamic approach is more like a sailboat that uses the waves to move. The results? They generated images from noise using orders of magnitude less energy than current generative AI models. We're talking potentially massive efficiency gains. Now, this is still research stage stuff. But as AI's energy footprint becomes a real problem, we're talking data centers consuming entire cities' worth of power, approaches like this could matter a lot. And speaking of scale, Bridgewater just estimated that big tech will invest $650 billion in AI infrastructure this year alone. Not research. Not salaries. Just building out data centers, buying chips, expanding capacity. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of Sweden. In 1 year. On AI infrastructure. The question everyone's asking, is this justified, or is this a bubble? Some of the smartest investors in the world are on both sides. The bulls say AI is genuinely transformative and early movers will dominate for decades. The bears say we've seen this movie before, remember the dot-com crash, the crypto winter, the metaverse pivot? Either way, $650 billion will create facts on the ground. That much capital reshapes industries whether the bet pays off or not. Now let's talk about the biggest story that nobody's really discussing. Anthropic just quietly dropped the central promise of their safety policy. The company that built its entire reputation on being the safety-focused AI lab. Back in 2023, they committed to never train an AI system unless they could guarantee in advance that their safety measures were adequate. This was the whole point of their responsible scaling policy. It was supposed to be the thing that made them different from OpenAI. They just scrapped it. Their chief science officer told Time, quote, "We felt that it wouldn't actually help anyone for us to stop training AI models. We didn't really feel, with the rapid advance of AI, that it made sense for us to make unilateral commitments if competitors are blazing ahead." Translation: the market pressures got too intense, and they blinked. The new policy just says they'll try to match competitors' safety efforts. That's it. No more promises to pause development if risks are too high. No more guarantees. This is the company that hired the authors of the famous AI safety papers. The company that was supposed to be the responsible alternative. And now they're saying competitive pressure matters more than safety commitments. If even Anthropic can't hold the line, who will? Finally, let's talk about something that hit Reddit this week with thousands of upvotes. People are getting tired of ChatGPT. One post titled, "I literally just skim over ChatGPT's responses now," captured the mood perfectly. Users complaining that every answer is too long, too hedged, too qualified with unnecessary caveats. This connects to the MIT research we mentioned earlier. Part of why the models seem worse might be that they're optimized to be safe and inoffensive rather than direct and useful. But there's a risk here for users too. If you're skimming AI responses and not actually reading them, you're going to miss errors. You're going to miss when it hallucinates. You might start treating AI like a search engine when it's actually a confident liar. The user fatigue is real. But the solution isn't to trust AI less and skim more, it's to demand better AI that respects your time while still being accurate. Before we wrap up, quick hit on Taalas. They're building LLMs directly into hardware, no memory chips, weights baked into silicon. The result? 16,000 tokens per second. That's absurdly fast. This is the kind of specialized hardware that could make AI ubiquitous. Not running on cloud servers, but embedded in devices.